Hello and welcome. My name is David Baker. I'm the National Director for the John Jubilee Transformation Experience. And we are glad you're here on this webinar. We call it a sharing webinar, where we're going to get to share with you the John Jubilee Transformation Program. And I'm going to introduce now Mr. John Jubilee. Go ahead.
Well, hello there. Thank you so much. I love the magic of technology. And isn't it amazing that we get to connect this way using this great tool? And I'll tell you what, I got some people that have been telling me for a long time, you cannot keep going to 20 cities a month, that you're going to have to learn to use technology eventually. And so you are part of the first group that is actually listening to one of our sharing webinars. So I'm so glad that you decided to join us. And you need to thank, first of all, I would encourage all of you to thank the person that invited you to this webinar. I'm going to
hang on 1 second.
Oh, I can hear several people. Am I on? Okay, well, I'm going to make myself comfortable here with all of us, and just take my jacket off here as well. And again, I'm just going to welcome everybody here. And listen, we're just real people. Everything's not going to be perfect as we're getting to do this, but I got great news for you. The science that I'm going to share with you is perfect. It really is. And I don't say that lightly. I say that because literally over the past 18 years, I have helped thousands and thousands of people to get healthy at a cellular level. And the reason is because the human body is designed in a very specific way. But the great news is it's designed in a specific way. And when you do the right things, your body will get healthy at a cellular level. Now let me tell you first of all what a transformation is and what it is not. This transformation experience is about getting healthy from the inside out. It's about your cells literally opening up, and the mitochondria that's in the center of your cell, it's supposed to be firing like a thermonuclear power plant. But most of us, our cells are very unhealthy. They're like smashed like a hard marble. And the mitochondria cannot fire inside of that. And part of what happens when the cell gets healthy, it opens up, and inside, zzz, bam! You get that thermonuclear explosive power, which creates energy. Anybody out there feeling low on your energy? Well, I've got great news for you. This transformation experience increases your energy because your cells are literally energized. As your cells become hydrated and energized, your arteries, which are just like muscle tubes, they open up. Your circulation gets better. As your circulation gets better, if you have high blood pressure, they say, thousands of people that have done this experience, they say all your high blood pressure goes away. You'll have no need of high blood pressure medication. And do you know what comes right with high blood pressure? Is high cholesterol. And the reason is because when those arteries get smashed, when they get compressed, the body tries to protect itself and it overproduces a slick, slippery substance to try to get the blood through there a little bit easier. And guess what that's called? Cholesterol. That's right. So that's why about 80% of people with high blood pressure also have high cholesterol. Well, the great news is this experience, based on thousands and thousands of testimonials, people say every single time that they got cured of their high blood pressure. They say they got cured of their high cholesterol. And there's a really cool side effect, by the way, to getting healthy at a cellular level. You lose your fat and you gain your muscle. Now listen, muscle, this is what this experience is. This is about actually losing fat, not weight. This is not weight loss. This is not a diet. Look, every diet works for a minute. But life is a lot longer than a minute, isn't it? So that's why I don't like diets, because they all work for a minute, but Every single one of us has probably tried every single diet out there, right? Can I get a witness? Me too. Me too. But the great news is, because of my frustration of going through that same experience, that's where I came up with this transformation experience. So this is about fat loss, not weight loss. This is about gaining healthy hydration, gaining healthy muscle, losing fat, losing inches with zero sagging skin, I might add. The only reason people's skin sag when they lose their fat is because they're dehydrated and they're losing water. And on every diet, we all know the first 10 pounds we lose is what? Water. Of course it is. Well, the great news is you will not lose a drop of water on this transformation experience. You will not lose a drop of water. Listen, the earth is mostly water. You are designed to be mostly water. If you're not 50 to 60% hydrated, you are dehydrated. How many of you, last time you went to your doctor, they measured your hydration level? Pretty alarming, right? Doctors don't even measure it. It's the number one most important factor to your cellular health is your level of hydration. So I got some great news for you. This is simple. It's simple. If you can count to 10, you can do it, because there's 10 simple steps to getting healthy at a cellular level. It's scientific. The science is proven. Empirical evidence. For 18 years I've been doing this. 10 years I did it for free. The first 10 years I helped all these people for free. And that's where I became an expert, spending 20,000 hours of my time helping people get healthy at a cellular level. It's sustainable. You can do this for the rest of your life. I have people in their 80s and 90s that have done it and are doing it, and they can do it. People in wheelchairs have done it, lost 37 inches. I had a woman lose 37 inches in a wheelchair. 37 inches, that's a yard. That's a lot. But that's how simple it is. That's how scientific it is. Sustainable. I've had people from 18 years ago. Dr. Ronder, Vanderbilt orthopedic surgeon, affectionately says, I was one of John's guppies. Now let me tell you something. 18 years, that guy looks amazing. Fantastic condition. He went to his high school reunion at his high school weight. And he said, I think I was the only person at my high school reunion that was at my high school weight. That's great news, right? So this is not a diet. This is literally a lifestyle change that is sustainable for the rest of your life. And lastly, it's safe. Do you know, if you'll do this the way that I share with you to do, 2 simple exercises twice a week, 1 exercise you're going to do daily, I've never had one person injured doing it the way I share with you to do it. So it's safe, simple, scientific, sustainable, and safe. So that's great news, right? Here's what it's not. It's not a diet. It's not some crazy workout program. Nothing is more frustrating to me than seeing, a bunch of people get on some bad kick of some extreme workout program. Half the people get injured and quit. Half the people finish it and then realize I could never sustain this for the rest of my life. So this is no running, no sit-ups, no heavy breathing. I'm going to give you the most simple, steady, solid, proven exercises imaginable. Now you got to promise me though, you're not going to be mad at me if it's simple, because it's really simple. One of my favorite quotes, one of my doctors, he said, John, are you kidding me? I lost 60 pounds of fat. I gained muscle I haven't had since I was in college. He said, this is distressingly simple. Dr. Victor Beck said, this is distressingly simple. Now look, that makes me happy to have a transformation experience, to have a program that literally I can share with you that is distressingly simple. So whatever your goal is, if it's fat loss, that's a great goal, because, hey, looking good, I'm all for looking good. But do you know that fat will kill you faster than smoking? So to have a fat loss goal, That's a healthy goal. You know, the reason that they stopped doing smoking cessation commercials was because they did 2 huge scientific studies, and they said, hey, it's not the smoking that's killing people, it's the fat that's killing the people. An Indianapolis police captain became my client because he said, John, I heard you talking on the radio, and I always thought you were being a little bit dramatic, talking about fat loss is life and death. Fat loss is life and death. But he said in 1 month, I was on 5 calls with women my wife's age, late 40s, and my wife's shape, round, that all died of natural causes. He said, I came home, I put my wife's cheeks in my hands, and I said, baby, I love you, and I don't want you to be one of those calls for me. Please, let's go and let's get started and let's do John's program. That was literally what got them started, was 5 deaths from nothing other than being overweight. Look, all it takes, hey, just 4 pounds of fat is the size of a loaf of bread. 4 pounds of fat is the size of a loaf of bread. Now, could I take a loaf of bread and put it on my mouth and nose and suffocate myself? Of course I could. If it was solid fat, 4 pounds of fat, you can suffocate yourself. So could you suffocate one organ? Your pancreas, your liver, kidney. All it takes is one organ suffocating and you die. Well, we don't want to do that. Let's get rid of that fat. Let's get healthy at a cellular level with a side effect of the fat loss. So this is not some fad diet. You get to eat real food. Get to eat real food. How irritating is it, these people that order this food that tastes like cardboard? Well, yeah, go eat a bunch of cardboard. You'll lose some weight, but how long are you going to eat cardboard? Do you know if your taste buds aren't happy, ain't nobody happy? You know, you'll get irritated. You'll get irritated after a while eating cardboard. So what I teach is how to eat real food. Only 2 foods we're going to avoid until we're done building our house, because I teach build a house, move in the house. We're going to avoid our sugar and our white flour. And the reason is when you eat sugar or white flour, that literally turns off your fat burning switch. You cannot burn fat when you're eating sugar or white flour. Now the other thing is, if you have cancer or you've had cancer before, sugar is the only nutrient in the world. Sugar, when it hits your saliva, turns into pure glucose. Glucose is the one and only nutrient for a cancer cell. Cancer has to have sugar to survive. So doesn't it make logical sense to all of us to say, why don't we starve those cancer cells and quit feeding them sugar? All you have to do is stop eating white flour and sugar, which when it hits your saliva turns into glucose, and you'll starve a cancer cell that has nothing to nourish itself with. So while we're in build the house, and typically build the house is 88 days. And the reason is in 88 days, all the nutrients that you need to build healthy cells happen in 88 days. Your cells are designed to naturally regenerate every 88 days. That's why 88 is that magical number. So that's why I teach an 88-day cellular health transformation. So look, think about it. You could do anything for 88 days. Now the cool part is there's certain components you'll do for the rest of your life because you realize, well, this is so simple and so easy. I'm going to do this the rest of my life. Now, very quickly, for all of you sugar lovers out there like me, are you never going to eat sugar again? Yes, you get to eat sugar. The reason is once you get healthy at a cellular level, you can eat sugar because your body will just convert it to glucose and glycogen and store it in your muscle as a healthy energy source. So this is about creating a lifestyle that you really can live with for the rest of your life. Hey, last night I was in another state, in another city, and guess what? I had a large sausage and pepperoni pizza, and I had 2 big pieces of fudge. Now, is that good news for anybody? That just shows But guess what? We don't have to eat perfect forever. We don't. And you don't even have to eat perfect during your 88 days. I'm just going to give you a set of guidelines where you can eat real food, but you're just going to avoid sugar and white flour just for your build the house phase. After build the house, we can add those things back in. So just know there's kind of a light at the end of the rainbow. I literally eat sugar every single day in maintenance phase. And I'm glad to say, look, I've been in maintenance phase for about 18 years and haven't gained back 1 inch or 1 pound of fat. And I'm leaner, healthier, stronger than I literally was 30 years ago. No joke, 30 years ago. You might even be able to find some pictures on the website where I'm holding my 1-year-old son, and now he's 26 years old. And I look better today standing beside him at 26 years old than I looked holding him when he was 1 year old. So that's real 25 years ago. I literally, physically, stronger, leaner, fitter, healthier than I was 25 years ago. So the age thing is a myth. So I got some great news for you. What is it? It is transformation. It's gaining your lean, healthy muscle. It's gaining your cellular hydration. It's losing your fat. It's fat loss, not weight loss. Fat loss, not weight loss. And losing your inches. And it's about a true lifestyle change, about being able to eat real food, food you love, but eat them a little bit of a different way, of how to exercise, but with no heavy breathing, no extreme workouts, no crazy running, nothing like that at all. Something that's simple, scientific, sustainable, and safe, and for your whole life. So if that's great news for you, I can tell you this, it was great news for me. And when I did it 18 years ago, guess what happened to me? Oh my word, everywhere I went, people said, John, oh my gosh, you look amazing. What did you do? And I began to share and help one person, then another, then another. I did that for 10 years, friends, for free. For 10 years. I helped every person that came across my path that asked for help. I helped them for 10 years. And after 10 years of doing that, and you can imagine, I had dozens of people, dozens of my friends and other men that would say, John, you really should go full-time in health and wellness. You know, you're amazing what you're doing, helping people and how you help me. But I had a 21-year banking career, and I was very successful in my banking career. In fact, I was so honored, I kept a contract. I have a contract still in my office that I kept that Dave Ramsey, the famous radio host, they gave me a contract to be their national banking representative for all their clients nationwide. And I didn't take it at the time. I was too busy and had too much going on in my own banking world and everything I was doing. But I mention that too because it's significant that after 10 years of helping people for free, the man that owned that company, Dave Ramsey, actually sat me down, knee to knee, toe to toe, one morning on a Friday morning, and he said, John Jubilee, you need to go full time in health and wellness. And long story short, he went on, and I wasn't buying into what he was saying, but Dave Ramsey looked me in the eye and pointing his finger at me, and he said, look, I mean it. He said, I got all these employees, I don't want to exaggerate it, 300, 400, 500 employees, I got a dozen department heads. He said, I want you to meet with everybody and anybody. I'm giving you my staff to build your business plan. You meet with whoever you need to meet with, John. You got to do this thing full time. And I was like, wow. And guess what? I took the leap of faith and I jumped off. And I started helping people full time from that time. And it has been the joy of my life to help thousands of people to get healthy at a cellular level. I mean, I cannot even exaggerate to you the levels of success and the dramatic transformations, that have taken place over and over and over and over and over again. And listen, all I do is share truth. I'm a pure scientist. A pure scientist searches for the truth that is known. I don't care what the truth is. I just want to know what it is. And then I want to share that truth with you to change your life for the better. And that's all I do. So let me just share with you. Again, I'm all about empirical evidence is something that really happened. If you stick your finger in a fire and your finger blisters up in that fire, empirical evidence says my finger got burnt in a fire and it blistered. That's empirical evidence. So let me share a little bit of empirical evidence with you here. And I'm going to start with a gentleman, very dramatic story. Hope you guys don't mind. If the truth is dramatic, it's dramatic, right? I mean, some things sound too good to be true, but they are true. They're true anyway. Some of you might be before your time. Did you guys know that in 1970, I'm going to share some of these stories with you in just a minute. But let me just lay a foundation that something that sounds too good to be true or too outlandish to be true. Hey, what would you think if I told you that there was a real person and this guy got this idea, I'm going to take a cable and I'm going to run it across the two biggest buildings in the world, and then with no harness, no protection, no safety net, I'm going to walk across the cable. That sounds crazy, right? Sounds crazy. In 1974, a guy ran a cable between the two twin towers, 110 stories up in the air. We're talking clouds. That guy ran a cable across, and he didn't just walk across it one time. He got all the way across, and he turned around, and he walked back. Yeah, he did it several times with no protection, no harness, no nothing. Up there, it's a little bit windy at 110 stories, by the way. Can you imagine? But look, if somebody could do something that outlandish, seems way too good to be true, seems impossible, that really happened. It's historical fact. Well, guess what? You can believe these stories. These are historical facts as well. So let me show you some pictures here. Have David pop these up here for us. I got Michael Summer. Michael Summer. Now, David, which one am I looking at so that I know which picture you've got up there? There he is. So Michael Summer had diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer. Guess what? He doesn't have any of those today, and he lost over 100 pounds of fat. I had a lady come up to me and said, I met Michael Summer in person. She said he literally pulled his shirt up and let me see his belly button, and everything to show me that he had zero sagging skin. That his skin was as tight as a little kid, and it was. True story. True story. Those of you that are diabetics, I got great news for you. You know someone that's a diabetic. Look, the number one cause of diabetes is not fat, it's not sugar, it's dehydration. Part of what I help people do is get hydrated at a cellular level. When the pancreas gets hydrated, now it can regulate the insulin the way it's designed to do it. Do you know that even your car, if you took all the water out of your car, it won't run how it's designed to run, even if everything else is perfect? Take that one thing out of your car. Would you drive it to California? Of course you would not, because you know that car cannot run, cannot function without that water. So the great news is, everybody say, they say, they say. Listen, I'm medically approved, so I make no medical claims. But I'm going to tell you something. People that are diabetics say they're not diabetic anymore. They're off all their diabetes medication. They have none of the symptoms of a diabetic. Their doctor says, what in the world have you done? Those doctors call me on the phone, by the way, and say, what in the world? I've been treating this person for 20 years for diabetes, for high blood pressure, for gout. They're cured. What in the world happened to them? Women, great news, hormones, hormone issues in women. Guess what? You get all those organs hydrated at a cellular level. They can regulate your progesterone, your estrogen, your testosterone, your adiponectin, all of the chemicals that you need to have your normal personality and your normal healthy shape. Isn't that a bummer, girls, when just because you have a few hormone changes, all of a sudden 10, 15 pounds of fat just comes on like that, right? Hey, I know because I was part of 2 medical studies for hormones for women. I had 138 successful cases. I literally got asked to leave the study because I was skewing the numbers. So I got great news for you. When you get healthy at a cellular level, everything gets better. Everything gets better. Hey, pop up my next picture there for me, David, if you would. Oh my gosh, look at this guy. Listen, this guy did not even come in to try to look good. He was a part of a corporate health and wellness program. Year after year, no matter what they tried, no matter what exercises they did, he still had the high blood pressure. He had the high cholesterol. He had the high triglycerides. He had the numbers saying, buddy, you're headed for diabetes. Everything was black, 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 black. Black is bad, by the way. Green is good on those tests. He was in the black on every single bar. He came in, he signed up to do a transformation. 88 days later, he went back in and said, give me every test that we take for our assessment. Every bar went from black to green, every single one. Oh, and cool side effect, he looks quite a bit better too, doesn't he? That's Phil Paget. He's become a dear friend and a brother. And can I just say, he is a powerful ambassador of transformation. Why? Because he had that experience that you're looking at. That's a real experience that a real person had. And when you experience something, you want to share it. So when somebody shares this with you, you can know this. They also had their own experience, and they have maybe met or heard of or been in the same room of a conference with hundreds of other transformers that have had these tumors that have completely disappeared, surgeries canceled. We've got a client right now, prostate cancer. They gave him his death certificate. They said, yours is so bad, the best thing we can do is operate to buy you a little bit more time. He did a transformation. They prepped him for surgery. He was in pre-surgery at the hospital. And they were doing their final ultrasounds and their test, and they couldn't find one trace of prostate cancer. They canceled his surgery. Documented, medically documented. A nurse and her husband, a nurse, called me. She said, John, I had to call. I took my husband to 4 doctors this week, 4, because I could not believe he was cured of diabetes. But he was cured. And it was documented by 4 different doctors. Documented. So friends, look, I'm a pure scientist. I just share real stories about real people, empirical evidence. I'm not a perfect person, but my science is perfect of what I teach and what I'm able to share. I have thousands and thousands of success stories. David, pop the next one up there for me. Who we got there? Now, is there a way to put that on the bigger screen for me? That's showing up really small where I am. I'm seeing
it's big, John, for everyone.
There we go. Oh man. Now this girl, her husband loved her just how she was. He loved her just how she was. But you know what? He said, baby, he said, I know you've been listening to this guy on the radio, and I'm gonna buy you a little present. She lost over 100 pounds of fat. Now, I'm not going to tell you how old she is, but I'm going to tell you she's old enough to be on Social Security. Because that's how she said it to me. She said, John, I won't tell you how old I am, but I'll just tell you I'm old enough to be on Social Security. She lost over 100 pounds of fat, and I asked her the loaded question, you got any sagging skin? She said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And by the way, girls, it doesn't matter if you need to lose a lot of fat or even just a little fat. I got a contingency in Malibu, California, and hello out there to all my Malibu mamas. I got a group of those Malibu girls and girls. Now look, I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying you got to realize for the rest of the world that maybe need to lose 30 pounds or more. You Malibu girls that think 10 or 15 pounds is a lot, that's hard for people to imagine. But hey, if it's your 15 pounds or 10, it means a lot. But here's what happens even with a Malibu girl or someone who has that type of shape. You lose the fat, but you gain your healthy hydration, you gain your muscle, your shape changes significantly. So it's not just about what the weight scale says, it's what shape do you actually have. So I got great news of, 15% of my clients don't need to lose 1 pound of fat. They want to gain their energy, they want to gain their health, they want to gain their healthy hydration, gain some muscle, but they don't need to lose 1 pound of fat. And while I got this beautiful gal on the screen, I'll tell you what, I had another gal, she called in, can we just talk family business for a minute? You guys want to hear like a funny, true story that really happened to me on live radio. Prime time, morning drive time. I had a live show, Indianapolis, Indiana, and this woman calls in. You can hear this on a podcast, by the way. It's on my website. It's Elizabeth. Woman calls in, Elizabeth. Hey, John, this is Elizabeth, and I just had to call in and encourage all the girls. I've been on your program for all 4 or 5 weeks. She says, I lost 30 pounds of fat. I'm off my diabetes medication. I'm off my high blood pressure medication. She said, oh, my word, I feel amazing. My energy's through the roof. And I'm thinking, man, this is a pretty good call. And then all of a sudden she says, and you know what? I got the tingles back. I didn't know what the tingles were. So I'm going like this to my radio producer, and he's not paying attention to me. He's over there like texting his girlfriend on his cell phone or something. I was just like, go to break, because I wanted to, find out where she's going with this tingles thing, and it's too late. Here I am, live radio. And she goes, you know what the tingles are, right? And I said, well, actually, no. I really don't know what the tingles are, Elizabeth. And she goes, oh, well, I haven't had sex in 8 years. She said, but oh my word, she said, I got my sex drive back and my husband's on the road, and I called him and said, you need to get home, I'm going to jump your bones. I was like, okay, nothing like live radio, let's go to commercial. But do you know, her husband came home all right, and hey, they're a married couple. I guess she did jump his bones, because next thing I know, he showed up in our Indianapolis office. We didn't know who he was, but he came in, and he's just skinny as a beanpole. And he said, hey, he said, sign me up for this John Jubilee transformation experience. And my office manager said, well, what's your goal, sir? Looks like you're pretty lean. He goes, oh, yeah, I'm lean all right, but my energy's real low. I got high blood pressure. And I'll tell you what, man, he goes, whatever you guys did to my wife, I want you to do it to me. So it's not just the weight loss. It's not. It's about transformation. It's about getting your life back, man. Get your mojo, especially in a new year. Hey, this is the new year to be the best you ever. I want to encourage you this year, man. Make it a revolution, not a resolution. Make it a revolution. This is going to be my revolution year. I'm going to be the best me ever this year. I'm going to do something I've never done to have something I've never had. And that's what life is about. You just have to be willing to do something different, to have something different. Show me my next picture you got there, David. Oh, man, I love these guys. Here's a couple. Here's a couple that did it together. And, man, they got a bunch of beautiful kids that, I'm just a new part of the family, now with these guys. But look at this before and after picture. As a couple, energy level through the roof. They both lost a ton of fat. They gained muscle. How exciting. It's like getting back to honeymoon stage, by going through this together. Got them on the same page mentally, spiritually, physically. The kids got involved. And I got to tell you something really cool about these guys. And this gal is Dana Eddy. And she's just become like a little sister to me. She came in with all her kids, and you know what they brought me? Now remember, I built my house, so they know I got a great metabolism, because you're going to reset your hypothalamus, you're going to reset your metabolism on this program. That's part of the secret. They brought me 3, not 1, 1, 2, 3 desserts. They brought me 3 different ones because they know I love dessert. And they knew I could eat it, and I wouldn't gain any fat at all. 0. Because that's the magic of having a great metabolism and a reset hypothalamus. Hey, and don't think I'm some genetic wonder, or any of these other people are either, by the way. Hey, my biological dad's like 400 pounds and died young. So this isn't some, my family's got some great genetics. Every person in my family had arthritis. I had arthritis in my 30s, but I don't have it in my 50s. No arthritis. Oh, and by the way, they say everyone gets cured of their arthritis. I'm telling you what, I used to have the Rice Krispie syndrome. You know what that is? It's where you wake up and you snap, crackle, and pop. That's what I had, but not anymore. Now I can run bleachers. I can run stadium bleachers with my 25, 26-year-old sons. And they're great athletes, and guess what? I can just run with them, and I can run them into the ground, because guess what? I rebuilt all that cartilage, and so can you. And I really encourage couples to do this together. I've had many couples. I wish I'd have came up with this as a marketing slogan, but I didn't. They said it. They said, John, this is the best marriage seminar we ever took. It's the best marriage seminar we ever took. So I can tell you, as a couple, it'll do more than just something physically for you. It'll do something emotionally and spiritually, for you as a couple. Be extremely positive. I love these guys. And if the Eddies are on there, hey, much love to you guys if you're on this webinar tonight. Who's the next one you got for me? Oh, man. This is one of my new favorite people. 97 pounds of fat lost in a truck. In a truck. Hey, this is the inspiration for transformation for truckers. And guess what? I've had many other truckers have amazing transformations. What I teach is so simple. This gentleman is from Wisconsin. He drove all the way to Indianapolis, Indiana, where I was speaking at an event. And you know what he drove there for? To shake my hand and say, thank you, thank you, thank you for changing my life. He got cured of arthritis, of high blood pressure, obviously lost almost 100 pounds of fat. He did all of this in his truck. One of his arms was almost immobilized from an accident that he had. Almost immobilized. And now he has complete mobility and flexibility in that damaged, injured arm that he thought he would never get it back again. But this guy, listen, I'm not exaggerating. You can call him and ask him. In his truck, he said, John, I'm a trucker. How am I going to do it? I said, you can do it in your truck. I'll show you what to do in your truck. Hey, I told a girl what to do in a wheelchair, and she lost 37 inches in a wheelchair. You can do it in a truck. Hey, it's like green eggs and ham. You can do it in a truck. You can do it in a wheelchair. You can do it at home. You can do it at the gym. You can do it anywhere, Sam I am. Yes, you can. It's that simple, scientific, sustainable, and safe. You really can do it anywhere. Hey, I'm getting inspired. All right, who's next? Oh, hey, now here's an example of skinny fat. Now this is Jonathan Melcher. This is my first radio producer from Nashville, Tennessee, from Super Talk. Now this guy looked totally normal in his shirt, but look at him. Take his shirt off, man. He looks like he swallowed a little, little motorcycle tire, right? Got those sagging man boobs, and guess what? He got so inspired hearing people calling on the radio that he's like, man, I got to try this. I got to try it. And then he started to do it, and guess what? He wanted to quit. The same reason many of us want to quit or want to not even try. He was afraid he was going to fail. And can I tell you something? I looked at him and I said, Jonathan Melcher looked me in the eyes. I said, brother, you're afraid to fail, aren't you? I said, me too, Jonathan, me too. I said, the reason I actually went and researched thousands of pages of science, went through all of this to find these 10 technologies, these 10 strategies that people can do, is because I was so frustrated. I did not want to fail again. Not again. I said, Jonathan, me too, man. I bought all the programs and supplements and diets, and I tried everything. You know why? Because I wanted to believe something was going to work for me, but it did not work for the long term. Nothing did. Come on, how many of us have gained and lost weight over and over? And then eventually we say, do I really want to bang my head on that brick wall again? My answer was no, I don't want to fail again. And if that's where your mind and your heart is today, I got great news for you. Me too. I was right there. And I can promise you this, you won't fail. You will not fail if you do it. If you do this, you'll succeed. You really will. If you do this a year from now, you'll say, I'm so glad I did it, because this I can do for the rest of my life. And 5 years from now, you'll say, I'm so glad I did it, because I can do this for the rest of my life. You know, I just spent a couple hours on the phone with Dr. Ron Durr, and we were just rejoicing and kind of reminiscing together, because he did it 18 years ago, and he's sure glad that he did. And I believe you're going to end up with a testimony like that. But this young man's a great example of what I call skinny fat. So if you're a person that looks great in clothes, but you don't look great naked, hey, you need to be a transformer. Because do you know what they say about transformers? Transformers look good in two things, and two things only. They look good in everything and nothing. Those are the two things that you look good in. And those are the two things you can't go wrong. If you look good in those two things, it's all good, because you're probably healthy on the inside. And that's my number one goal for you. What's my next story here? Oh, look at this guy. Here's one of those guys, classic diet over and over and over. And listen, I'm not making light of it, but this guy lost 100 pounds of fat in 88 days. That's happened so many times, it's not even a big deal anymore. But he didn't just lose fat. He gained muscle, he gained healthy hydration, and lost over 100 pounds of fat in 88 days. And we have had that happen dozens of times. Next picture. Oh, you guys recognize this guy? This is my national director, David Baker. And I'm going to tell you something. David Baker did not want to be a fat preacher, but kind of snuck up on him anyway. But I'm happy to tell you, and he can share more about his own story later, but you know what? He gained muscle, he gained hydration, he gained energy, he gained strength, he got healthy, and he lost his fat. And he looks amazing, and he's been a great inspiration to many, many people. Next. Oh, man. You got to love this guy. Look, if this guy can do it, 71 years old, he lost 72 pounds of fat. At 71 years old, he lost 72 pounds of fat, gained healthy hydration, gained muscle, got off all of his meds, got off of his diabetes medication. He was as skeptical as he can be. And you know what I teach people? Intelligent people are skeptical. Hey, every scientist is skeptical. I'm a scientist. I'm more skeptical than most people. Skepticism is healthy. I tell people, be skeptical, but do it. Don't cheat yourself out of something. Look, it's this simple. I want you to be skeptical. I want you to be a beautiful, beloved skeptic. That's what I call my skeptics, my beautiful, beloved skeptics. I want you to be as skeptical as you want to be. Because look, I have helped thousands of real people to get healthy. Thousands. Somebody right in the heart of Nashville, Tennessee, Baptist Hospital, walks into my office one day, and whenever I'm in the city, I try to meet with people in person. So they don't know they're going to meet with me, but they do. Because I love meeting with people face to face. I started this just helping one person at a time, and so that's always my passion. is helping you. It's helping the one. I'm always focused on helping you. That's why I say changing the world one person at a time, starting with you. And I mean you. I really mean you. And so this gal comes in, she crosses her arms and she makes a face, and she said, "Sign me up. It's not going to work for me." And I laughed and said, "What in the world are you doing here, sister?" And she said, "I lost a bet with my stupid brother." I said, "Well, what was the bet?" She goes, "Well, we both have always been 100 pounds overweight. The bet was if one of us ever lost it, the other one has to go do the same thing that the successful one did." And then she starts making fun of me, because I teach 10 things, 10 steps, 10 technologies. And she said, "And my brother, he lost 102 pounds of fat in 88 days, and he did the 10 steps." And I said, wait a minute. Your brother lost 102 pounds of fat in 88 days. I said, doesn't that give you just a little bit of confidence? Maybe you might succeed? No. You don't understand. I'm Heather Britt. I'm the nursing director of Baptist Hospital, 5,000 employees. She said, I went into nursing right out of high school because I was 100 pounds overweight in high school. She said, and battling a multiple sclerosis. So I went into nursing to learn how to get healthy. And nothing in medicine worked for me. Nothing. I said, well, with all due respect, sister, you've never done this transfer. She goes, no, wait a minute, I'm not done yet. She said, then I spent $60,000 on weight loss, or some exorbitant number like I couldn't believe. Now, I was skeptical. I said, wait a minute, how do you spend that much money on weight loss? She said, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, MetaFast, Nutrisystems, Way Down, HCG 5 times. She named $60,000 worth of weight loss products. I said, oh my word, this girl really has done it. I said, look, are you from this planet? She said, of course I'm from this planet. I said, well, this works really good on Earthlings. So I've got news for you. I said, this has worked every single time for every single person. She goes, well, I got news for you. She goes, I know if I do it exactly how you tell me to do it and it doesn't work, I'm going to get my money back, and I'm going to do it exactly how you tell me, and I'm going to get my money back. I said, well, okay, sister, we'll see. Well, 88 days later, Heather Britt lost 106 pounds of fat. Heather Britt not only lost all that fat, changed her life, got healthy at a cellular level. According to her neurologist, who's been treating her for over a decade, non-symptomatic for multiple sclerosis. I was so excited that in different cities where there's all these different testimonies, we do television specials. And Heather was on my list. She was going to be on a television special for Nashville, Tennessee. So I was so excited I was going to see her. And so here she comes, stomping across the set. And I said, Heather, I'm so excited to see you. Well, what's wrong? You seem upset. She goes, are you serious? John Jubilee, I'd rather be beaten by 5 men in the parking lot than be on television. I said, well, what are you doing here? Why'd you come? She said, I'll do anything for you now. Heather went to a family gathering. Her father saw her, came up, embraced her, and he wept. And he said, baby, please forgive Daddy. Please forgive Daddy for telling you all those years you're just a big girl. You're just a big girl. You know, when people are told all their life they're just a big girl or they're just big boned, that's not true. They just haven't found their genetic blueprint. They just did not have the opportunity to do the right things to be their true self. So I got great news for you. I have thousands of stories just like Heather Britt's, thousands of them. But let me talk about money for just a minute. Because look, There's a few priceless things in this world, just a few, not many, about three priceless things. But I'm always learning, so I'm always teaching. And let me teach you something that I learned from a New York City fireman. This gentleman comes in. He says, John, heard great things about you, heard great things about your program. I'd love to do it. He said, but I can't exercise at all. I'm sure I can't do it. I said, I'm sure you can. He said, no, you don't understand. I got trapped in a fire. My lungs are literally burnt up. Like all of my lungs are not even in my body anymore. They're literally partially destroyed. So I can't breathe like a normal person. He said, if I ran from here to the back of the room, he said, I would die of bronchial airways disease. I'd have an asthmatic attack. I said, well, I got good news for you, brother. There's no running. There is no heavy breathing. There's no heavy breathing. There's no running. There's no sit-ups. That's for everybody. You can do it. He said, no way. I said, way. You can do it. I finally convinced him he could do it. He said, how much does it cost? I told him how much it cost. He sat there for 3 minutes. Your screen's not frozen. I'm just staring. Isn't that awkward? Now that was 10 seconds. Just imagine 3 minutes. 3 minutes. And I'm taught to be polite, wait till somebody says something, and I'm waiting, and man, it was awkward. He grabs the paperwork. He said, I'm doing it. I'm signing up. He starts filling out his paperwork. 88 days later, he comes bouncing in. Man, did I mention he's from New York? Anybody know somebody from New York? Anyone know anyone quiet from New York? Well, neither was this guy. He comes in, John Jubilee, oh my gosh. He goes, I swear. He said, if I had $1 million, I'd give it to you. He goes, this is no kid. This is his words, not mine. He's like, are you kidding me? I lost 81 pounds of fat in 88 days. I gained 14 pounds of solid muscle. He goes, and you know what I did today? He goes, I exercised for 90 minutes. He says that I could jog. He said, this program changed my life and my family's life. I never thought it would be this good. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. He said, but can I tell you what I was thinking when you told me how much this cost? And by the way, when he asked me how much it cost, I told him $3,000. $3,000. And I told him, look, man, you're priceless. Your health is priceless. I told him $3,000. That froze him. He said, John, when you said $3,000, my first thought was, oh my word, that's too expensive. I'm not spending that money on myself. He said, but you know what my very next thought was? Man, I live in a brick house. And I just paid some dudes $3,200 to paint my trim on my house. 4 months before that, he goes, I got a phone call. Hey, Lisa's transmission's out, $3,500 for the transmission. Paid it in a second for the car. 4 months before that, heating and air went out, $5,400. Paid it in a second for the house. 6 months before that, we all went to Disney World, $5,000. He said, John, I started thinking of all these things I spend money on, doing an inventory. Things. He said, then I started thinking about all the thousands of dollars I've spent on health, buying supplements, exercise program, trying personal trainers, gym memberships. He said, and you know what? And he goes, and I've had to go to the hospital, and I thought how much it cost just for one night in the hospital is more than $3,000. He said, you know what, John? That's when I stopped. He said, my light bulb came on, and he said, I'm worth $3,000. I'm worth it. I'm going to do this. I got nothing to lose. If it doesn't work, I'm getting my money back. But I'm going to invest some money in me and in my health. Well, here's what I learned, friend. My light bulb went off too. Oh my word, that's how we all think. We devalue ourselves. We devalue our health. Are you kidding me? Your health and you is two of the only priceless things on this planet. Hey, I want you to just go with me here for a minute. You get a funny feeling, you get a little tingle in your arm. Something starts to feel a little bit numb. Next thing you know, part of your mouth is drooping a little bit. And someone looks at you and says, hey, I think you're having a stroke. They take you in the hospital and they say, yeah, you had a stroke. You're not going to be able to use your right side probably for 6 months to a year. If you could rehabilitate, maybe it'll come back. As you're laying there not able to move your right arm and your right side of your mouth is hanging down, I wonder if you might not think differently about is $3,000 a lot of money to spend on your health. Now that's an example, but let me tell you a true story that happened. A couple signed up one morning. That evening they were in the emergency room in Tennessee, in the emergency room. And the doctor said, you need to have emergency gallbladder surgery right now. They looked at each other, they talked for a minute, and they said, you know what, doctor, we're not going to do that. He said, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, you need gallbladder surgery right now. They said, what are the chances? We just met this guy, John Jubilee. We just signed up for this cellular health program, and this happened to us the same day. He talked about how much would one night in the hospital cost you. They said, look, we may come back and do the surgery, but we're not going to do it right now. The next morning, they called our offices, and we said, look, we're not going to give you medical advice against a doctor, but here's what we would tell you that we would tell any family member that's a possibility. You add these 2 protocols to the 10 things that we give you. Well, they made the choice, their choice. It was their choice. We didn't advise them medically, but they chose not to have the surgery. Do you know that that young man passed all his gallstones completely naturally, saved $18,000 on a gallbladder surgery, and still has his gallbladder today, but he doesn't have 64 pounds of fat that he had. Hey, you're priceless, and your health is priceless. And I want to encourage you today to invest in yourself. Hey, if not now, when? If not you, who? This is your time to be the best you that you can be. You have to make a choice. Revolution requires change. Revolution requires courage. And it's okay. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's not the absence of fear. When I was raising all my Jubilee kids, guess what I told them? They'd say, Daddy, I'm afraid. I'd say, that's okay. Do it afraid. I've done many things afraid. That's what real courage is. It's you're afraid, but you do it anyway. So if you're afraid to fail, me too. I was afraid to fail. I really was. I was afraid to have another failure. But I did it anyway. And I succeeded. And then I've helped thousands of other people just like you to do it afraid and to still succeed. So I'm going to have David come and share with you at this time. If you'd like to join me in a revolution, if you'd like to join me in this journey, listen, I'm with you every day, every step of the way on this journey. And this is a lifetime program. I'll be with you for the rest of your life. You pay this one time, you're with me for a lifetime. You're with me for the rest of your life. And we'll walk together in a transformation family. Listen, if it works, is it worth it? You know it is. If it doesn't work and you do it how I told you to do it, I'll just give you back your money. Just that simple. Look, either way, we're going to be friends, right? If it works, we're going to be friends. If it doesn't work, but I give you back your money, we'll still be friends, right? Because you know that guy was not trying to take my money. The guy's trying to help me change my life and get healthy at a cellular level. So, hey, make me your new friend, or give me the opportunity to become your friend by walking on this journey together. Because my desire of my heart is pure. You don't get a more pure heart than helping people for free for 10 years. And I can tell you this, so far all I've done is make about 17,000 new friends, and I want you to be one of them. So David, share with my new friends, how they can become a part of this. And I'll look forward to seeing you because I'm going to see you every day.
All right, that sounds great, John. Thank you, and that is my testimony, and I won't take the time for that now, but just tell you how you can get started. Very simple. Everything is virtual. Everything is online. We will send you the books in the mail. There's 2 books, the workbook and the manual. You'll get a video from John every day, encouraging, teaching, helping, every day in your email. You'll have coaches you can call if you have questions. John does a Tuesday night every week, question and answer, where if you have any question about specific health for you and life, you can get on and ask John. If you can't make it on the webinar, just email us a question and we'll ask John, and you can watch the replay. And so you're going to get great support while you're doing this. By the way, if you have any health questions specific for John, John will stay on tonight until we answer those, but I want to tell you how you can get started. Very simply, all you do is just email. I put my email address up there, David at John Jubilee. David at John Jubilee. Just email me and say, hey, I want to get started. We'll send you 2 documents on your email to sign electronically. One is a non-disclosure. You're paying good money for this program. It's not fair to you and others to give the program away. So it says you're not going to disclose John's intellectual property. And the other form is just we call it an intake, where we're intaking all your information, your name, address, email, phone number, financial information. Now, a couple things we're doing financially to help people. I've been doing this 2 years ago is when I did my transformation. I've been working for John for about 1.5 years. I've been to lots of meetings and sat across the table from a lot of people. And honestly, I can truly say everyone that has heard John talk wants to do the program. Everyone does. The only issue is finances. And I said, John, let's fix the financial problem. And so we got some good things to be able to help. The first thing is this. It's normally $5,000. On the webinars and in person, John's giving it for $3,000. If you can pay up front, credit card or check, or however you want to do it, then John will knock another $500 off, and it's only $2,500. We just started doing that. And so it's $2,500 if you can pay it up front. If you can't, that's no problem. If you can pay $1,000 down and $1,000 and $1,000, you'll get done before the 88 days. Then it's only $3,000. What we realized was we were paying a lot of money to accountants and bookkeepers to keep track of all this. We don't charge interest and finance charge and all that, but we would rather give the discount to you as a client instead of paying a bookkeeper and accountant to keep up with all that. And so there's a discount if you can pay it up front. If you can't, no problem. $1,000, it gets paid before, and that's fine. We won't charge you anything else for that. If you can't do that, and by the way, at the time I could not either, then what they have is $500 down and $200 a month, and then it's $3,500 because we have to pay someone to collect that. You can pay it off early if you want to, and we can work with you on that. And so that's the way it works. The other thing about the finances that we're able to do is set up a sharing program where you can share this with your friends and family. After I did when I did my transformation, I went to some family right away and said, hey, you need to do this with me. No, we're not interested. We're not interested. 2 months later, they came to me. Okay, not just one, said, that program you're doing, what is that? And they came and signed up. And so many people said, what are you doing? Every person that does this is a walking billboard. So you can invite people, you can tell them about it, but a lot of people will just ask you. And so anyone you recommend that does this program, then what we're going to do, John realized paying so much money to radio and TV, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars for radio and TV advertising, we'd rather pay the clients. And so anyone that you recommend that does this program, we will give you 10% of what they pay down. So if they pay the $2,500 down, then we will send you $250 right away. You have 4 people that go through this program, that's $1,000. I don't know about you. I've got 11 children and minister salary, not the highest pay bracket. That would very much help our family out, and that's what we want to do. My goal financially and coming in and doing this new thing is to give more back financially to the people who do our program than what they paid into the program. That is our goal. So we're going to take the financial issue away. You said, why don't I have $500? Borrow it, save it up, sell something, whatever. You can get started with $500, and then just invite people to come, share it with them, and we can put that money on your bill, so you don't even have a monthly payment if you share it with one person a month that does the program. Okay, and so anyway, that is how it works out to be able to do. So if you want to do it, all you have to do is just email me at david@johnjubilee.com, david@johnjubilee.com, and then we can get you started. I'll send you the documents in the mail. Once we get those back, get it processed, we'll send you the books in the mail. We will get your email started. and then be there to answer all your questions. Okay? All right. John has stepped out now, so we are going to be done with this webinar. That's how simple it is. If you do have a specific question about your health, does it work with this? Does it work with this? You can go to the website, johnjubilee.com, and you can see literally dozens and dozens of testimonies from people. You can go to YouTube account, John Jubilee, and find his YouTube account and find testimony after testimony of real people that are doing this, not models, not people for show, just real people who did this transformation and had a great time. So thank you so much for being here. I know we went a little long, but it's just great stuff. John has literally thousands of people that he's helped, and just amazing stories. I've got to meet these people and see their transformation, and it's amazing how John has been able to help these. I thank God for it, for finding John 2 years ago. Literally 2 years ago this week, I found John, heard him on the radio for 5 minutes. I said, sounds too good to be true. I'm going to check it out, and signed up, and I lost over 50 pounds of fat. I messed my knee up, sledding with my kids, wasn't able to run or exercise. I can fix that. Our family did a 5K run together, all my boys and I did it together. I did my first triathlon at 48 years old with this, and it has added such a benefit and quality to life back to me and to my family that there's no way I could ever repay John for that, and it was definitely worth the money that I paid for it. So we're going to end, and if you have a question, email me, and if you want to get started, email us, and we'll be glad to get you started. God bless you, and thank you for being here.